Hey y'all. I'm reading Mark the 5th chapter, the 25th verse, and I'm going to read until the 34th verse. There among the people was a woman who had been bleeding for the past 12 years. She had suffered very much. Many doctors had tried to help her, and all the money she had was spent, but she was not improving. In fact, her sickness was getting worse. The woman heard about Jesus, so she followed him with the other people and touched his coat. She thought, if I can just touch his clothes, that will be enough to heal me. As soon as she touched his coat, her bleeding stopped. She felt that her body was healed from all the suffering. Jesus immediately felt power go out from him, so he stopped and turned around. Who touched my clothes? He asked. The followers said to Jesus, there are so many people pushing against you, but you asked who touched me. But Jesus continued looking for the one who touched him. The woman knew that she was healed, so she came and bowed at Jesus' feet. She was shaking with fear. She told Jesus the whole story. He said to her, dear woman, you are made well because you believed. Go in peace. You will not suffer anymore. Yesterday, I did a message, and it was about you're asking God for things, but you're not giving God anything. And in that message, I had talked about my own testimony, and I was saying that how I was asking God for something, and God did it. So God told me to come back and tell what he did for me. Like, I'm going to share the miracle. So we as women, we know that, our bodies go through this every monthly, the monthly thing. And I was not having no major issue. I was not having issues at all. And you a woman, you want it to go away altogether, right? So that's how I was. I would just be like, I just wish this would just go away. I wasn't having no issues like this woman, but I had to use it because that's what the miracle was. So I was just like, I just wish this was go away. I got tired of the body, how body go through so much every month. I got tired of the cramps, and I was just like, oh, I just wish this would go away. Well, let me tell you, God took it away. And I shared that in my video on yesterday, how I was asking God for something, and God did it. Like, it was a miracle. And when he did it, it was like, I was like, what, in my middle 40s? And I was like, well, I'm not having no issues. I'm not sick. Like, he just took it away, y'all. I mean, it just went away. Before I knew it, God just dried it up. Because, first of all, I said in the message yesterday, I was asking, and he took it away. But before I got it, I was sitting, I was out there doing me. I was sitting and seeing. And God was like, well, you asking for stuff, but what you going to give me? So when I, when I was asking and I laid down my ways, he took it away. But my flesh got weak, and I picked it back up. And guess what? He bought it back. So then God was like, but you keep asking for stuff, but you don't want to give me anything. So guess what? I had to make some decisions. And maybe somebody, you're asking God for things, and you're wondering why you hadn't received it. Or you're wondering why God is not, as if God is not listening to you. But like I said yesterday, God said, what is you going to give him? Will you lay your life down and give him your life and let God, work those things out for you? And that's what I chose. In the end, God, okay, well, I gave you that. But then you want to go back and start doing what you wants to do. No, it's not going to work like that. Like, that's how I felt that God was telling me, like, no, it's not going to work like that. So, y'all, I had to make some decisions. And I did. I chose, well, I'm going to lay this down. Because, man, like, God is showing me, like, I would give you what you want. You have trust. You have faith in me. But you give you lay down all this stuff and turn away from your evil and sinful ways. I would give you what you asked for. And I laid it down. And when I say I laid it down, I didn't even go back to it. Like, when God say surrender, he wants you to lay down all of that. Anything that's not pleasing to God, give your whole life to him. Give your whole self. Your mind, your body, everything. Surrender it all to God. And y'all, that's what I did. And when I did it, guess what? He dried it up. And I have been without that monthly friend for what, about 5-6 years. This didn't have nothing to do with menopause. This didn't have nothing to do with health issues. No, nothing whatsoever. God worked a miracle. And he told me this morning, he said, it's time for you to go back and tell them the miracle that I did in your life. And I said on that video yesterday, I said, what I was asking for, I knew couldn't nobody do that but God. I couldn't do it. A doctor couldn't do it. They try to put you on medication and try to, take you through the surgery to get your inside removed. No. This was a miracle from God. And God told me it was time for me to start sharing it. And guess what? I'm ready to start shouting it all across. I'm just going to share it because God was like, share the miracle that I did for you. Let people see that you asked me. And even the word tells you, ask and you shall receive. But don't think that God just going to do things for you, but you're not doing nothing for him. You won't even give your life to him. You won't even serve him. You won't even worship him. You won't even put him first. You won't even spend time with God on a daily basis. You won't even seek God. You won't even depend on God. You won't even allow God to guide you. You even putting God on the back burner and putting everything else before him. You even going running to the doctor, asking the doctor, what is it that you can do for me when it comes to something dealing with my body? But did you take it to God? Did you ask God to heal you? Do you even have faith that God would do it? That's the question. Do you have faith that God will heal your body? Whatever you're asking for, do you have faith that God will do it? Y'all, it was a miracle. I mean, dried it up. Dried it up, y'all. You asking. But God said you don't want to give me nothing in return. Bye, y'all.